stand a chance.
The legacy of Sega as a video game developer needs no introduction, and among the many prominent works of this reputed organization, the Shinobi game series deserves a special mention. This series of hack-and-slash games featuring the iconic ninja protagonist Joe Musashi has evolved through the decades. The journey started back in the late 80s through a popular arcade game, and over the years, Joe Musashi became as much of a legendary character for Sega as Sonic the Hedgehog and Alex Kidd. The Shinobi game series is a testimony of Sega's technical accomplishment, and the high-quality graphics combined with a solid and challenging gameplay make for some iconic games. With Shinobi Art of Vengeance recently released in 2025, the history of the franchise is rich and interesting, and I thought this might be a good time to revisit the iconic series. Who created the character Joe Musashi, and what is the story behind the first ever Shinobi game? Today, the Shinobi franchise is seen as a video game series that greatly impacted the action platformer genre. But it all started during the late 80s when Joe Musashi, the main character of the Shinobi series, was created by Sega with special contribution from game designer Yutaka Sugano. He not only developed the character, but also impacted the core concepts of the game, and the idea was immediately lapped up by the executives at Sega. With this, the first game in the series was released in arcades in 1987, and the story was centered around Musashi, a member of the Oboro clan. His name holds a lot of significance because it serves as a tribute to the legendary Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, and the game blends Western and Japanese influences quite masterfully. The game was created in order to capitalize on the ninja craze of the 1980s, and it was a huge statement in terms of Sega's technical prowess in arcades. The veteran Sega developers, Noriyoshi Oba and Takashi Urio, were both responsible for crafting the masterful gameplay that soon dominated the industry. What was the backstory of Joe Musashi in the gaming lore? Within the game's lore, Joe Musashi was orphaned at a young age and adopted by the chief of the Oboro clan, a lineage descended from the famed Iga ninja. He trained from weakness to become the clan's most skilled ninja. His quest for justice starts when the Zed crime syndicate kidnaps children from his clan, prompting him to embark on a mission to rescue them and defeat Zed, establishing the series' motif of lone ninja heroism, rooted in discipline and honor. Exploring the original Shinobi game and the early storyline, the original Shinobi game, released by Sega in 1987, introduces the core lore of the series centered on the ninja Joe Musashi. Musashi belongs to the Oboro clan, a ninja clan betrayed by a criminal organization called Zed. The Zed group kidnaps the children of Musashi's clan, using them as leverage for their criminal operations. In this game's storyline, Joe Musashi embarks on a mission to rescue these kidnapped hostages and dismantle Zed's criminal network. The narrative unfolds through 5 missions, each mission consisting of multiple stages where Musashi fights through waves of enemies, ranging from punks, mercenaries, ninjas, to Mongolian swordsmen who guard the hostages. Each mission culminates in a boss fight against one of Zed's leaders. The setting stays largely in Japan with modern urban backdrops, blending traditional ninja themes with a contemporary criminal thriller tone. Musashi's combat includes shurikens, punches, kicks, and special ninjutsu magic techniques. The player advances by freeing hostages, which sometimes upgrade Musashi's weapons. How does the legacy continue in The Revenge of Shinobi, 1989? Here, the story is picked up 3 years after the original game, and the criminal organization Zed has resurfaced under the new name Neo-Zed. This time, the organization is determined to get its revenge on the Oboro Ninja Clan and Joe, and as the first step, they have Joe's master killed and his bride Naoko kidnapped. Now, Joe Musashi is driven by both his loyalty and vengeance as he sets out on a deadly global journey to take down the Neo-Z menace and rescue his bride before it is too late. The game explores distinct districts that feature diverse stages with increasing difficulty, and I really like how the game blends urban and traditional environments. Even the gameplay is unique, and there are some new moves for Joe Musashi, including a somersault that allows higher jumps and multi-shuriken throws mid-air. There are various enemy types that reflect Oriental and modern military themes, and you have to fight everyone ranging from ninjas and samurai to soldiers armed with rifles and grenades. According to me, the lore deepens with the revenge of Shinobi, and it is recognized as one of the brightest moments in the series because of its darker tone and rich storyline. The enhanced gameplay mechanics are brilliant, and when I used to play this game back in the day, it almost felt like a personal quest. There are also 2 different endings based on whether Naoko is saved, and the game had some serious replay value. Did Shinobi 3 Return of the Ninja Master mark the end of the original storyline? This is the 3rd game in the franchise, and this chapter is considered by many as the climax of the original storyline involving Joe Musashi that finally resolves the long-standing conflict with Neo-Z. The narrative continues the saga of Joe Musashi as he faces the criminal syndicate Neo-Z once again. The game opens with Neo-Z resurging under a mysterious new leader known as the Shadow Master, threatening the world with renewed criminal and ninja forces. Having sensed this looming threat, Musashi leaves his solitary mountain retreat to confront his nemesis one final time. The storyline reaffirms Joe Musashi's role as the ultimate ninja master defending the Oboro clan's honor while putting an end to Neo-Z's global menace. What I find particularly impressive about this game is the genuine improvement in the gameplay that is quite significant compared to the earlier entries. Also, the action is a lot smoother and faster, and there is a focus on speed that the fans really like. As for the new moves given to Joe Musashi, he had a mid-air dash kick, the ability to jump and climb walls, and a powerful running slash that granted him temporary invincibility against projectiles. Musashi, he had a mid-air dash kick, the ability to jump and climb walls, and a powerful running slash that granted him temporary invincibility against projectiles. You will get to encounter a variety of enemies and bosses, and the final confrontation with the Neo-Z leaders is quite memorable. Oh, and the history of the franchise wouldn't be complete without a special mention to the improved graphics of this game, and it quickly became a fan favorite in no time for all the guilt-free ninja action. Did you know about Shadow Dancer and its side story in the Shinobi game series? Shadow Dancer 1989 is a side story in the Shinobi series, originally released as an arcade game. Here, the player controls a young unnamed ninja and his loyal attack dog, who together battle a dangerous terrorist organization committing atrocities in a city setting. The terrorists plant time bombs across the metropolis, threatening massive destruction. The primary objective in this game is to collect these scattered time bombs before they explode and to defeat the syndicate manipulating the city. The ninja uses shurikens and a sword for close combat, while his dog can bark and attack enemies to create strategic openings. The dog mechanic adds a unique gameplay twist where the player commands it to set enemies up for attacks. But if poorly timed, the dog is injured and reverts to a harmless pup temporarily. The game takes place across 4 missions with several stages each, culminating in boss battles against a variety of foes, such as a giant armored enemy, a weaponized train engine, a shield-bearing woman, and a magical female ninja. Between missions, the game features bonus minigames where the player throws shurikens from a first-person or third-person perspective, adding variety. The protagonist's identity differs between versions, sometimes named Takashi or Fuma, and in some home versions, suggested to be Joe Musashi himself. The storyline is minimal, but is connected to the Shinobi universe as part of the ongoing fight against villainous forces threatening peace. Shadow Dancer refines the Shinobi gameplay formula by incorporating urban environments, a canine companion, and mission objectives like bomb collection, distinguishing it from the original game's pure hostage rescue narrative. This game expands the Shinobi world, mixing classic ninja action with modern counter-terrorism elements. How did the game change into a 3D action adventure? It was the new era of gaming, and Shinobi 2002 promised to keep up with the changes as it was released for PlayStation 2. Here, you encountered a new protagonist, Hatsuma, the leader of the Oboro ninja clan. And unlike Musashi from the earlier games, Hatsuma has a soul-devouring sword that requires feeding on the souls of enemies. This changes the gameplay mechanic quite a bit, and I also find the new narrative to be darker and more dramatic than before. An evil sorcerer named Haruko unleashes hellspawn creatures to destroy Tokyo, and Hatsuma has to stand up to this new threat. The gameplay offers you a typical hack-and-slash combat with fluid movement, and it was not an easy nut to crack. Known infamously for its extreme difficulty, it was still praised for blending the old-school ninja action with modern 3D gameplay, and the franchise was revamped for the new generation. The sequel Nightshade soon followed a year later, and this time, a female ninja protagonist named Hibana was introduced as well. This marked a major reinvention of the Shinobi games and lore, but we didn't mind because the quality did not drop. Was Shinobi 3D 2011 a worthy successor? Shinobi 3D is generally viewed as a competent attempt to revive the Shinobi series for the Nintendo 3DS, returning to the franchise's classic side-scrolling action roots, but enhanced with 3D graphics and modern elements. The game centers on Jiro Musashi, Joe Musashi's father, and features a story that blends feudal Japan with a futuristic time travel twist involving an alien conspiracy. I was a fan of the challenging gameplay that required proper skills, and the inclusion of 3D effects made the levels and visuals stand out. The level design was a bit inconsistent, and the difficulty could be unforgiving. And overall, it was still a worthy addition to the series with such a legacy. Can the recent addition to the franchise, Shinobi Art of Vengeance 2025, extend the franchise? Firstly, the OG classic protagonist Joe Musashi is back, and the new return of the stylish game in its iconic 2D action roots was a huge gift for the fans. I am awed by the hand-drawn animation style and the combat system, and you will realize that the new era Shinobi game still balances nostalgia and innovation like a pro. It is just as appealing for the newcomers as it is for the first-time fans, and it stands out as a strong and beloved entry in the franchise. Yes, given how the game was received, I strongly anticipate a follow-up to the series soon enough. How did the Shinobi series impact other ninja games? The Shinobi video game franchise didn't just entertain the fans with some amazing games, but also influenced many other ninja games in the process. These games established certain design elements that soon became game standards for action and platformer titles with ninja themes. The whole idea of a lone ninja hero stemmed from the first Shinobi game, and we still cannot get enough of the concept, even though it has been recycled far too many times. The game introduced signature mechanics like fast-paced platforming, shuriken-based ranged attacks, strict enemy patterns, and one-hit deaths, and many of these features were included in the later games. One of the titles that immediately come to mind is Tecmo's Ninja Gaiden, which was released a year later, and it adopted many of the core design ideas of Shinobi. Also, some of the games in the Shinobi series, like Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3, feature ninja magic, which is basically a variety of acrobatic moves and upgrades. This inspired later games to include customizable abilities and fluid, combo-driven combat that you can find in games like Strider and other similar ninja action games. Even the visuals and audio aesthetics were used as learning tools by many others that followed the trend. Marvelous verdict. Shinobi game series has been nothing short of a deep cultural impact. There are some video game franchises that cannot be measured just by their success and popularity. The Shinobi game series, for instance, is nothing short of a major cultural phenomenon that changed the industry, at least for this particular genre. The action, story, gameplay mechanics, and every new innovation in the franchise paved the way for more to follow. And even when the series delivered some weaker installments, the legacy was never affected for this reason. For me, I think it is very difficult to beat the first two games, but I must admit that the modern releases have been impressive as well. For the sake of the fans of the franchise, I hope that they keep bringing back all the fun repackaged in a new avatar. Do let me know in the comments below what you think of the franchise, and also share your views about its rich history and your favorite game from the list.